Hello out there and welcome to Public Conscience. You are on to the anti-corruption program produced by the Progressive Impact Organization for Community Development, PRIMOG. PRIMOG is a civil society organization working to promote good governance, participation and accountability in Nigeria. I am Chidozie Ogbonnaya with my colleague Esther Bassi.
A warm welcome to the program wherever you're listening to us from.
On Public Conscience, we seek to evolve a corruption-free society through the amplification of investigative corruption stories by our partner media organizations and by alerting citizens and the government for their democratic actions against it. We equally promote integrity by amplifying rare cases of the display of honesty by public and private individuals in the course of their normal activities. We appreciate the MacArthur Foundation for supporting the production of this program.
In today's program, we will be taking a close look at an investigative report revealing how the issuance of a passport by the Nigerian Immigration Service continues to be troubled with corruption despite the introduction of the electronic passport application process.
According to a report published by the International Center for Investigative Reporting, ICIR, the electronic passport application of the Nigerian Immigration Service is facing sabotage by corrupt officials, as citizens ready to part with money are given express treatment, while those who insist on due process are left frustrated.
In January 2019, the service introduced an electronic passport application. The Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, said the electronic passport would solve the challenges of shortage of booklets to touting and the economy of corruption built around it, which has persisted for so long.
Sadly, the investigative report before us says otherwise. Today's program seeks to draw the attention of the immigration authorities to the failings of the electronic passport application process to stop extortion and bribery at passport offices, and also to remind immigration authorities that much more needs to be done against the reign of corruption at passport offices nationwide. For you out there, we want you to share your experience at Nigeria Immigration Service passport offices with us. And why do you think extortion of passport applicants continue to boom at passport offices across the nation? And also, what must the authorities do urgently to stop officials from sabotaging the system?
Be ready to join us through phone and text messages during this conversation. The WhatsApp phone line to send your message is 0902 265 6167. Now that is 0902 265 6167. Please indicate your name and your location when sending your message. This number is for messages only.
Please begin to send your messages as soon as possible to 09022656167, and that is 09022656167. We will give out the numbers to call shortly.
Let me quickly remind you that we've been looking at an investigative report by the International Center for Investigative Reporting, ICIR, on how some corrupt officials of the Nigeria Immigration Service continue to extort passport applicants despite the introduction of electronic application platform originally meant to prevent such acts.
Unfortunately, citizens who wish to follow due process while applying for their passport are frustrated and may end up not achieving their aim, while those ready to part with money get their passport faster. A victim of this exploitation will join us to share his experience. But let me also remind you that we invited the Controller General of the Nigeria Immigration Service to join us in the program and educate Nigerians on how to avoid being extorted. Hopefully, he will join us.
And joining us in the studio is a journalist with the International Center for Investigative Reporting, ICIR, Nuruddin Akiwoshola, and the Monitoring, Evaluation and Learning Officer, Center for Transparency and Advocacy, CTA, Stephanie Omere. You are both welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, I must welcome you, and lady. Nuruddin, let's start this conversation with you because you went out there to carry out this investigation. And this is not the first time your organization is publishing corruption reports at passport offices. Give us an overview of your current report.
The investigation is about bribery and extortion in Nigerian passport offices. So following tips from the victims, so at the ICIL, so we spoke with victims of this extortion, and let me start by saying that the normal process introduced by the Nigerian Immigration Service is that if you want to get your passport, you should apply online. If you apply online, you book for your appointment date and you go there for biometric enrollment. So on the day of your appointment, if you go there and you do your biometric enrollment, so you should wait. You wait, and they are going to text you to go and collect or to come and collect your passport. So, but as simple as the process seems, so we find out that it has been sabotaged by bribery and corruption. So, and we launched the investigation, so hoping that the system is sanitized. So we spoke with victims, so and they let us realize that after they apply online, when they go to the NIS office for their enrollment on their appointment date, the question that they'll be asking them is that who is the officer in charge of their file. So that means, so for them to get their file, they must be attached. I mean, they must meet with certain officer that will help them to process, that will help them to follow it up, and that is where the extortion comes in. So normally, so it's supposed to be, if you just go there, do your enrollment and wait for your passport and your passport to be produced. But when they are attached to a certain officer, or you are mandated to have an officer, so that officer will charge you what they call administration fee, or what they call fast tracking fee. So for them to follow up your passport. Based on the experience of the victims, you find out that if you refuse to pay this money, they won't produce your passport. So we realized that speaking with the victims and documenting their experience is not enough. I went there as an applicant, so of a passport. So that is the undercover part of it. So and when I went there, so I disguised like as a person seeking passport. So and the Nigerian Immigration Service should be somewhere that the headquarters, for that matter, should be somewhere that anybody can just walk into and say, I want to apply for passport, and they are going to guide him or her appropriately. So, but when I went there, they were discussing a lot of corruption-related things with me, saying that I should bring this, I should bring that, if I want it like that. So they were even discouraging me from following the due process. And even inside, so I was able to meet with a lot of applicants who they are going through frustration just because they refuse to pay the officers, just because they refuse to bribe any officer there who help them to process their file. So, and these are the things that we documented in this story.
So that is the way officials are scheming or circumventing the system. Exactly. That is meant to, because from the onset, when the electronic portal was launched, it was meant to eliminate interface or interaction between human beings, so that you just apply and go to the office and get captured. So you're saying from what you find out there that this is no more happening.
Yeah, this is not the case again.
It's not the case. Yeah. All right. I will go on, but let me ask you, how prevalent is this? Where did you carry out this investigation? Was it just at one passport office? How broad is this your investigation?
Yes, I was able to, because at ICR we are very, very keen about evidence. So I was able to speak with people who apply in Lagos, so and people who applied in Abuja, and I was able to speak with, because we gathered as many victims as possible, and people who were extorted in other passport offices. But for the undercover investigation, I went to the NIS headquarters. So and I observed that this is actually happening.
So if this
Okay, I wanted to say, because you said you reached out to people in Lagos and other parts of the country. Is the situation the same in those places?
Yes, exactly. It is the same thing. Even as at last week, so we still got reports, evidence-based reports from the victims saying that they are still being extorted. So that's the case.
Your investigation, you got information from Lagos passport office.
Yeah, passport office. Yes.
Which other passport office? You had a personal experience at Abuja passport office.
So the thing is that we didn't put all the victims inside the story, so that it won't be too voluminous. But we have as many as possible, as many people as possible that we spoke with. I spoke with someone in Kwara, so that experienced the same thing. Someone in Lagos, someone in Kogi State, and I think someone in Niger State too. So and the situation has always been the same.
Has always been the same. But let's bring in someone with his personal experience on this issue of extortion at the passport offices. Let's bring in a victim here, a victim of corruption at one of our passport offices. Emmanuel David is his name. He's a Nigerian who secured a scholarship to study abroad, but lost that scholarship just because he tried to follow due process. David Emmanuel, welcome to the program. Let's have you share your experience at Nigerian immigration passport offices, the experience you had when you tried to get your passport from them.
Yeah, seriously, it's never a good experience, which I would even want to wish my enemy, seriously speaking, because it's so depressing and so very, very devastating. You understand? It's something that I have always lived to remember, that it's not something that is just sweep under the floor like that. You know, initially, when I saw the application, and this is not just a fresh passport, it's a renewal passport that would not even take up to, that wouldn't even have taken up to even let's say, fine, 3 months per se, but it wouldn't have taken more than that. I applied for a renewal passport since March.
Can we start from where you applied? Where did you apply?
I applied online. Since they said, fine, the information in the passport office that you can easily just pay it online. You know, after making the payments online, I was happy. I got a date. And my date was supposed to be on the 18th, which happens to be 18th of February, which happens to be Easter Monday. So, but due to the holiday, I was now rescheduled for the next day, which I now went. They said my time was 8 o'clock in the morning. Believe me, I was there at least 7:30. I was already there, already making plans towards it. But you know, I stood there on the queue. The crowd there already was too much. I waited there till about 10 a.m. and nobody attended to us. And the only thing I would hear was like, who did you apply to? Which officer did you give your listen to? Which officer is handling your file? I was like, how am I supposed to know? There wasn't any requirement on the platform like an officer is supposed to be attached to your application. If you people make a request like that an officer is supposed to be attached to the application to help you do this or to help you that, fine, I would have known. Then how do I know? I meet this person, this one who say, meet the officer that is in charge, meet the officer that is in charge of your file. I said there was no officer attached to my file. Okay, fine, tell me, what do I have to do? Then I said, okay, I should go inside and meet an officer. I went inside, I met the officer. He said, who is the officer? I said, I don't have anybody. Okay, can you help me look towards the file? He said, okay, let's see what we can do. After fine, he opened the file for me. I did my capturing. After doing the assistant controller there at the headquarters, they had to come in. Because when she now noticed that officers were now bringing files from outside straight to the capturing room, and they just started calling people. And those that were seated there since 8 o'clock in the morning were there till at 1 a.m. and nobody called them for capture.
Emmanuel, I have to jump in here to ask you this question so that it will benefit everyone listening. Which particular passport office did this take place? Oh, okay. So go on. For want of time, we don't have so much time on this program, but you may have to summarize. But go on.
Okay, so I just had to rush in immediately. The woman now in terms of, she now shouted at them and said, why did they have to do that? That was how they now had to start following line by line. She chased all the whole officers that were inside there and they went out. And they now started following line. After the capturing, they believe I did my capturing April, but I collected my passport August. Can you imagine that? Renewal, not fresh passport. Then somebody that even applied May got her passport June, July. And me that I applied since March, I got mine August. So not just getting mine August, I now had to pay extra 25,000 just to process it. All in the name of when I go, they say, who is the officer in charge of your file? Go and meet the officer. I said there was no officer attached to the file. They said, I need to go for an officer. If I meet this other, they say your passport status is AA. It has to wait and come to AB.
So Emmanuel, this 25,000 naira you paid was aside the money you already paid online.
It's aside the money that was paid online. Outside the money.
And was there any receipt for it?
And a receipt.
Obviously, that silence means no. But let's go on and ask you: did you find out, or do you think there are so many other people like you out there?
Sincerely speaking, there are thousands and there are millions of people out there crying. Sincerely speaking, there are millions of people crying out there because of this. So I just simply believe them saying that people should just go online and make payments is just nothing. They should just wipe it out. Because if they can't correct from the inside, from making the officers and everybody to understand that once you register online, you can just go there straight for. If they follow that process, it will be as easy as ABC for somebody to just step into the passport office, do your capturing and go and rest and collect your passport. But it is not so, my brother. It is not. If you pay online, if you get to the passport office, the first thing, you might sit down at that outside. They will give you a chair to sit outside. Sincerely, you might sit down there from morning till night and go back to the way you came without anything being done. If not for you to stand up and ask, please, and I came for capture, the first thing you will hear them ask you is, which officer is in charge of your passport?
Okay.
But they didn't set that in the online.
Emmanuel, I get you quite clear, but we have to wrap up this conversation. But in 30 seconds, if you are to advise the immigration authorities, because they are saying they have eliminated human interaction in the process of applying for passports, what would be your advice to them in just 30 seconds?
And that's what I would just say is that it's all no, it's not true. It's not true. Go on. I was on Twitter. I had to even go on Twitter to beg and plead for people. I was tagging even the Comptroller General. I was tagging the Ministry of Interior for them to even look into this case. That there are cases of people just running up there. If it is good, let them do away with because I think being the officers that were there, they were with their name tag. I would have picked the name and I would have sent it to the platform.
So you were not able to get a name to those officers who you paid money to.
Those people are simply wearing what they're wearing their t-shirts and their camouflage trousers. Though I have screenshots of evidence of payment. I have it because I have to screenshot it and show the person that I made transfer for you. Please process my passport for me. You understand? That's how people have to do.
Okay.
The only advice is that it has been done. It has been done. I'm not, and God knows why, and it's good for it. And it's my experience with that. I was thinking coming to the headquarters to do it would have been a better way for me. But then I realized that it's even worse. If the headquarters can be like, then other places will be worse.
Okay.
My prayer is that God will touch them and this reform that the honorable minister has tried to bring into the place to stand. At least let them come out and just if they follow the online process, you won't see crowd at that place.
All right, Emmanuel, we have to leave it there for want of time, but we must thank you so much for coming forward to share your experience with us. And our own desire and what we are anxious to get is to make sure that the system is better, corruption free and seamless. But thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
All right, if you are just joining us, this is Public Conscience, and we are talking about extortion of passport applicants at Nigerian immigration passport offices, an investigation by the International Center for Investigative Reporting. But we have to go to
bring in Stephanie.
Thank you for patiently listening to all of us while we talk all this while.
But then I believe you've heard what the investigative reporter said, and also from the victim. We want to know your reaction to the stories of extortion and bribery at the passport offices across Nigeria, and how did we get here as a nation?
All right, thank you. I would like to say it's actually a laudable program, and one thing is just hearing his story, Emmanuel's story. I'm actually not surprised. And but it's sad to know that we are at this point. So, but I'm actually not surprised because I've had some of my friends tell me things like that they had to go through these processes. They had to pay an officer to be in charge of your file. So it's actually sad that we've come to that point. But since I've heard it, but I could even hear the passion at which he was telling his stories. So it's actually sad we've gotten to this point, and it's what drove us to this point is greed. You know, there's this common saying in Abuja. They'll say, I didn't come to count houses, I must grab my own. So with that, this greed, everybody, they are not contented with what they have. They just think they can bypass the protocol. They think they can just flaunt rules and get away with it and just do whatever they want. So it's sad we've gotten to this point, and something needs to be done. We can't just keep quiet. I'm a development worker. We can't keep quiet about it. So about these injustices, and we'll just pretend as if I don't want it. Let it not be a norm, because it's beginning to be a norm that people just walk into the NIS and say, I want to renew my passport, or I need a new passport, and before you just say, okay, you need to pay an officer in charge, and so on. So there is a right way, and people need to know about it. They need to know about these processes. You know, Nigeria has a lot of acts that people are not even aware of. So for the electronic system that was that came up 2019, Nigeria has a lot of acts.
Do you think people are not really much aware of this process?
Yeah, some people aren't. They are not. Most especially those at the middle class, the low levels. They are not. So you want to do your passport, the first thing that comes to every common Nigerian is, okay, go to immigration office. Go and do it. So we need to encourage people to go to the electronic process, use electronic process for it. We need to encourage that. We need to enlighten people on these processes. We need to do that.
Enlightenment.
So that, yes, so
enlightenment
that people,
is very necessary.
So that people would know. Because if they are extorting people like this, those that are at the lower level will not be able to afford it. They won't be able to afford it. I would think getting a passport, for instance, you want to get a 32-page passport for 5 years, and you are paying something like 40,000 to 60,000. So what comes to their mind?
Yeah.
So what comes to their mind? And look at how the fund of an average Nigeria.
All right.
So let's think about that.
Absolutely, it's worrying that things has gotten to this point. Sometimes I feel bad asking this question: how did we get here? But it is what it is, and we have to look for a way to solve it. It's also a good time to start bringing our listener to join us in this conversation going forward.
Okay, please follow us on our social media platforms at Official Primorg. The spelling of Primorg is PRIMORG.
First, also remind you that this program is interactive, and the WhatsApp phone line to send your messages 090226567, and we want to find out your contribution to all we've said, and also what do you think, what must the authorities do to urgently stop officials from sabotaging the system, and why do you think extortion of passport applicants continues to boom at passport offices across the nation? I mean, what can we do to stop it? All right, let's see who is here. Hello, your name and where you're calling from?
Yeah, my name is Jacob. I'm calling from Gary.
All right, Jacob, let's hear you.
Okay, concerning this passport issue, I renewed my passport 10 years, and I paid the officer about 95,000. You understand?
I get you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I paid the officer about 95,000 for 10 years passport. You understand? And I saw so many people there. They are actually exploiting people, and I feel the best way to move forward is the electronic version. They should also put the tracking so that you know the position your passport is at every moment. You understand? Just like when you order something from online, you can track it. So if they can.
Sorry to interject. Please, where did you pick up your passport? Is it in Abuja here?
Yes, Abuja, yes. In
Okay, the headquarters. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I feel it's not just getting the platform electronically. They should also do a level where people can track their passports to know at a particular office the passport is, and then when it's ready, they see the duration online. You understand?
All right, I get you, but please wrap up in 15 seconds.
And then they have a active number that people can call to either know whatever. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. We must thank you for your contribution. But I am sure that they have a tracking system. We'll come back to that. Hello? Your name and where you're calling from?
I'm calling from Wuse.
Okay, let's hear you.
This issue has really gotten deep, and it's not just for us to introduce a system, but there must be an overhauling of the whole system. Because if this whole system is not overhauled, the new system cannot work. The first people that I think have gotten it right is road safety. I've never gone to anybody in road safety to say with you, I do my own renewal online. And then when I go to the office, because the staff there has been trained that if somebody comes in online, there's a process that they have to go through. And they also have a complaint department where if any irregularities are done, they report to that department. And the staff are penalized for going outside the operational guidelines. So I think the minister or whoever is in charge are just paying lip service to this new system. If you must make this new system work, you must set in departments to follow up and make sure that the system is not being jeopardized.
You have to accommodate the many Nigerians there who want to lay their voice to the issues. Hello? Your name and where you're calling from?
This is Persist calling from Papi.
All right, let's hear you.
On this passport issue, this is becoming alarming. Last year I went to the headquarters in Abuja. I with my younger sister. We paid 40,000 to do our passport. And within 1 month our own came out. Then this year my friends begged me to help him. I called the same man that did for us, and he requested the same amount of 40,000 naira. The guy went, and after capturing, he requested another 25,000 from him, which the guy refused to pay. Could you imagine that from that February till August, this man refused to give this guy passport? We called every angle, nowhere. I don't know what we are going to do about this.
Is the situation still on ground? He don't have his passport yet.
Later, about ending of August, he released the passport. After the guy met another officer on the immigration service.
But did he pay
the money?
Did
the
he pay?
25,000.
Eh?
Did he pay the 25,000?
No, he didn't pay the money after.
Okay.
But those months, the guy waited. He would have processed his visa within that period. But this guy denied him.
Okay, thank you so much. Please, let's take other calls. Thank you for your contribution. We appreciate your time. Let's see who else is here. Hello? Your name and where you're calling from?
I'm Solomon, calling from Abuja.
Solomon, let's hear you.
Yeah, thank you so much. This program is very enlightening, and we want to appreciate you and your team. Honestly, what is going on in the immigration office is Very good. I did mine, and I have a friend that's working there, so she just told me I shouldn't bother in doing online because I will take forever. So I have to pay an officer who did this for me, fast track everything, so I got it within the space of 2 weeks. But that is not the way to go.
But you went that way.
But I went that way because an insider advised me not to go to the online. That I will not get my passport. If I go through the online and make payment, I will be coming for capturing. Nobody will capture me. So, since I didn't want to waste that time, I have to just say, but it wasn't good. Though I encouraged it, but it wasn't good. So I think if there's a way to maybe by sanitizing the system, by punishing those officers that make the process not to work, because people are frustrating the process not to work. If you pay online, you will not be captured. You will take forever to be captured. If you go to, they will tell you come tomorrow. You go next tomorrow. They will tell.
Okay, please can you conclude so that we can take other calls, please?
Please, we want to appreciate you and the team, and we advise the minister in charge to punish the immigration officers, those people that are responsible in frustrating innocent citizens from applying online and getting their passport. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Esther. It seems we have messages.
Yes, we have lots of messages to read out. From
Please
Facebook, Blessing Charles, he said, wow, sorry, Emmanuel, that's the victim. I agree with the lady in the studio. Yes, we really need sensitization of the common Nigerian citizens. We also have another one from Amadine Dino Idahosa. He said the extortionist would repent only for a while when there are eyes watching, but return immediately there is less focus on their activities. We equally have this one from WhatsApp. He said, hello, please, I'm Ayinla from Lugbe. Which documents can Nigerians have to get a passport and visa? Thank you. And how can I get a Nigerian passport? That's the question is asking.
Okay, I think we invited the Nigerian Immigration Service to join us and do this education on radio, but it's unfortunate we don't have them here. But maybe much of this, my guest Nuruddin Akewushola will do that if when I bring him on. But let me take this call also before I come to you, Nuruddin. Hello? Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is KWY, calling from Lugbe.
Okay, let's hear you.
This topic is very vital, and going forward, I want to suggest, because I have had an experience. As a matter of fact, one day when I went to get my passport, I had the immigration officer jokingly telling his colleague that this 35,000 naira entering his account. Maybe yes, if you don't come straight at one day, they jokingly laughed about it because people were paying money to his account direct for passports. Just as if a friend of mine is paying 45,000 naira for his family to get passports. It's a serious matter. I'm talking to you. In fact, it requires beyond this topic. If it's something that can be treated every day, it's possible. We can let it right. One of the suggestions I feel that they should take is, if it is possible, maybe say officers interview those who are the passport offices, go to Mokorada, go to Salka, the headquarters, and other various places. When people are sitting, ask them, how did you apply for your passport? Did you go through online or an officer is in charge? If an officer is in charge, who is the person? Can we know the person? How much? Okay, madam, how much did you pay? How much did you pay? You will be shocked that everybody seated at immigration headquarters, both in Mokorada and the headquarters here in Salka, will be shocked. If I tell you how much these guys make, you will be scared. These guys I'm not sure they have anything to do with their salary. I'm not joking. It's not this of 1 minute round up. No. That was why that other previous caller got offended. Because people want to end their mind. It's painful. And you're giving them 1 second to just round up. This thing is serious. These guys extort money from us on daily basis. If you go to immigration report, you'll be shocked. That's why they don't. If they send you to immigration office, you are made. You are made.
you
All
for
right,
your contribution.
All right, we have to accommodate others. Yes, thank you so much. We have to accommodate others. It's not like we want to cut you off, but we also understand that you are not the only one having this problem, and they have to bear their minds, others also. I will have to pause on the call so that I will take your responses. You want to say
yes,
something?
because everybody is pointing to just the officials alone. They're pointing to the officials, saying that, okay, they're always asking for this bribe. They want you to bring in the money. But then we don't know. I don't know if it is also, maybe you've also thought about it, if you think the applicants themselves, in a desperate need, also offer this money.
It's okay to say, because bribe is an aspect of giving and taking.
Yes.
So if I am not desperate for this, if I'm not ready to cut corners, I will not be extorted. But let me get your responses, your reactions to this. A lot has been said. What do you make of all the outpouring that we got from our callers?
Okay, but let me just start with what you just said. Now, they are taking advantage of the frustration of people. For instance, you need to travel abroad urgently, and you need to renew your passports. And somebody is telling you, come today, stay tomorrow, capture 3 weeks time, and time is running out. So there's a difference between extorting people and bribery. Extorting people have to do with force. You are forcing them to take advantage of them, kind of. Like,
it may be compulsion in the sense that you need this and you want me to provide this service.
Yes,
but there's always an intention from you wanting to cut corners.
To do that based on frustration. Mm-hmm. Because if you see the people that have called, if you have listened to them well, you will see that some of them, they went through that process because they were frustrated.
They know someone.
Even Emmanuel that
spoke to
us, you could see he was frustrated.
Okay.
He didn't want to go through that part, but because of the delays, he had to pay extra 20,000 or 25,000 just to get the job done.
All right. Let me a good place to bring Nuruddin, because you interacted with people out there. Bring some answers to the questions a friend of ours, a caller, asked. He said, what is the price of again the
procedure?
The procedure.
Yeah. Actually, the due process and the normal procedure is to go to the NIS website, that is immigration.gov.ng. So immediately you click on the link, so to take you to their website, and the first thing you see is to apply for passport. So if you click on apply now, so there are a lot of columns that you are supposed to fill there. So if you are not conversant with operating mobile phones or smartphone or computers, you can go to the cafe. So
that will help the person
do it there. So it has ranges. So there's 32 pages, 5 years validity passport. Normally the due process it is between 17,000 to 25,000. In Abuja here, it is 25,000 plus the transaction fee. It is 26,000. So it is lower in other part of the country, like in Sokoto, it can go as lower than that. So for the 64 pages, 5 years validity, so it is 22,000 to 35,000. So and for 64 pages, 10 years validity, it is 70,000. So, but
these are official prices.
Yeah, that's the official.
But your investigation captured the faces of some of those indicted.
Yes, of course, sir.
And I'm sure what has happened after your investigation. Have you had any report of arrest, apprehension, any questioning of those faces you put on the story?
So, and that's the most saddening part of it. So, as in trying to bring this kind of information out, and at the end of the day, nothing is done. So, like Festus Ogun, Emmanuel has said, the NIS does not show true commitment that they want to tackle this menace, because after the investigation, so I called the NIS spokesperson that this and this is happening. He said it's a lie. So we published the information and they saw it. After that, we invited them to a total space to speak with Nigerians, to educate Nigerians. The way they have boycotted this session, they refused to come. So the NIS itself, and since then, since we have published that report, nothing was said, nothing like a press statement. Like, we have seen this thing, we are going to do something about it. Nothing is done. I could remember the time that an investigation was done about officers of the INEC extorting people that also applied for PVCs. Immediately the INEC received that report, they called the officers involved, they called them for questioning. Since we have done this report, nothing like that has been done by the
no
NIS.
communication back to you.
So the NIS need to show true commitment. They need to make scapegoats out of people that because when people go there for that they want to make a complaint, so they say that they should provide those officers, and they're always scared because men in uniform, they are kind of very, very powerful and they normally behave like one. But we have done that thing for you. We went there and we identified those people, some of them that are involved. So it's not too much for the NIS to call these officers, to prosecute them, so if necessary.
Okay, so Stephanie, why do you think perpetrators of fraud against passport applicants are rarely seen being brought to book?
Well, for me, I feel that, Nigeria has a lot of laws that would have taken care of perpetrators. Like, for instance, in the Nigerian Constitution, 1999 Constitution, which is the most important constitution in Nigeria, it takes care of this. For perpetrators, officers collecting either benefits for carrying out their own duties. So, like for the corrupt practices and other related offences, commission that ICPC. The ICPC, they take care of things like that, like from section 8 to section 20. Discuss things like that, how perpetrators, there are penalties for it.
But we are not seeing these things happening. So yes, that's why we're asking, why do you think we find ourselves here?
The first thing is, there's a law like that. So the laws are available. So it's for us to begin to implement this law. That's one thing I will always stress for is there's need for awareness. People need to know. Thank God for some civil society organizations that have taken upon themselves to simplify some acts. So they have simplified it in such a way that anybody can understand it.
All right.
So they are able to communicate the information there. And also, we shouldn't just stop. I heard Nuruddin saying that the NIS have not responded in any way. We have to push for it.
Yes. We have to jump into some messages, but in 15 seconds,
yes,
your advice to the public, because they are the center of all this bribery, extortion, and corruption. What is your advice to the ordinary Nigerian on the street?
My advice, so I'm going to speak as a Nigerian too.
In 30 seconds at least.
Yes, my advice is that there are laws that frowns against this kind of practices. We need to know our rights. We need to speak up. We need to understand the reporting phases, because that's another thing. We need to understand the reporting process, so that, for instance, somebody is extorting me, who do I go to?
Reporting.
How do I do the reporting? Because some people don't know it.
Okay.
So we need to know who to speak to, where to go to.
So it goes back to awareness you talk about.
It goes back to
awareness.
it. So that's it.
Esther, thank you so much for that contribution.
Okay, we have the first message from Yewande Green. She said, most of the time, applicants are compelled to bribe them. Please publish the official website for online registration and renewal. Let the platform be interactive and transparent. I think she's referring to the NIS office here. And then we have another one from Henry Ike. He said, please, let all officers on duty put on their uniforms with their name tags without delay.
All right.
It should be displayed.
I can still see people trying to call us. I don't know, but we can't take those calls because our time is fast spent. But I will come to you to wrap up this conversation. You've been out there, you've seen the corruption, you've seen the bribery and extortion barefaced, face to face. What is your advice to the authorities, the Nigerian Immigration Service, and to the larger because the Nigerian Immigration Service is under a ministry. So what is your advice to all these parties involved?
My advice first will go to the government. So, and it's very, very important. First thing first, the Nigerian Immigration Service, the Ministry of Interior, they must show true commitment. They must be ready. Imagine telling the NIS spokesperson about this barefaced corruption, and he's saying that he's not aware. They are still denying that this thing is happening. So the NIS as an institution, as a government agency, should be ready to tackle this problem. And secondly, and lastly, so Nigerians, they must be ready to speak up. So you must start to be doing what they call name shaming. Name shaming. So if you are extorted by a certain officer, post it online. Tag the Nigerian Immigration Service. So, and lastly, so you can go through the investigation and say the ICR. The investigation is titled "How Corrupt Immigration Officers Extort Nigerians Despite Launch of Electronic Portal." So it is on the ICR portal. The ICR. Thank you.
We have to thank you so much, Nuruddin Akewushola. But for you out there, it's been a whole lot of eye-opening investigation here, and the conversation is about you. Don't avail yourself to be extorted or ripped off by NIS officials. And that is our offerings for today. That is where we'll be ending the conversation today.
Okay, please visit our news website, primognews.org. That is primognews.org for all the details of our reports and interviews. Visit our website www.primog.org to get all the information about Primog.
You can watch our videos on Primog TV, our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to get reminders when we have a new post. We appreciate our guests, journalist with the International Center for Investigative Reports in ICIR, Nuruddin Akewushola. Thank you for joining us. We also thank the Monitoring, Evaluation and Learning Officer, Center for Transparency and Advocacy, CTA, Stephanie Omere. Thank you for joining us. And also Emmanuel John, who is a victim of extortion at the passport office in Abuja here. He joined us via the phone. We thank you for joining us as well. Thank you all that listen and those that wrote us on Facebook. Public Conscience has the support of John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation, committed to building more just, verdant, and peaceful world. Get more information about the foundation on its website, macfound.org.
Join us again here next week for another episode of Public Conscience. And remember to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Official Primog. I am Esther Bassi.
Remember that birth registration and birth certificate are both free if your child is under 18. Help stop the corruption in birth registration and do not pay for birth certificate. Also, remember that you can give us information or hint about corrupt acts through our phone at 090-2265-6167 or info@primog.org. I am Chidozie Obonnaya. Stay safe.